Update. Am I the a-hole for letting my dad think I was missing and causing him to be disowned? Original post. This happened in 2020, but it recently got brought up, so I thought I'd ask. So I, 17 female, used to have a great relationship with my stepmother. I genuinely saw her as a mother figure in my life. I was so excited when she found out she was pregnant. But everything changed in 2020 when I had to stay prematurely with my dad during the lockdowns because my mom is a surgeon. At first, everything was normal, until my stepmother Tammy was about 4 months pregnant. She started snapping at me for no reason, and things that she didn't care about before now bothered her. Now, I wasn't a messy or a loud person. I did everything I was asked and respected the rules without any backtalk. But no matter what I did, she got angry. It came to a point she couldn't stand being in the same room as me. I remember I ended staying in my room most of the time. I only left to do chores or get something from the kitchen. Even at that, she got mad. Like one day she came into my room angry and started yelling that my room was so smelly it was making her sick. I pointed out that the only mess in the room was a half bag of chips, which caused her to burst out crying. As always, Dad babied her, then made excuses saying she's struggling over lockdown, pregnancy, and not being able to see her family. My mental health was extremely bad. I felt like I was a piece of trash that at any day my dad was gonna throw away, and I was always scared my mom would get sick. It went so bad my hair started falling out. The breaking point came when I was at the kitchen table. I was reading a story on my phone, waiting for my cereal to go soggy to eat it, when Tammy came in, huffed, then started cleaning, loudly complaining about a mess. The kitchen was spotless. Then she took my bowl and threw it to the bin, literally even the bowl. So I just flipped and started yelling at her what was her problem with me, and called her an abusive freaking witch, among other things. My dad came running and got between us. She demanded that I leave the house, that I was never allowed near her kid. Dad walked me to my room and said something that ruined our relationship forever. He told me that I must be doing something to Tammy, because no one hates a kid for no reason, and if I kept stressing her, I'd have to move out. And then made a social media post asking someone for a place to stay, explained the situation in detail, packed a bag, then climbed out of my bedroom window, bungalow. After about 30 minutes, my phone started blowing up, but I just turned it off and went to a friend's house. I texted my mom off my friend's phone to let her know everything. She didn't call for 7 hours because she was in surgery. She said my aunt would pick me up the next day. My mom told my father I was okay and that I'd be staying with my aunt for 2 weeks till she could come home. Apparently, Dad and Tammy had to go door to door to my family's/friends' houses looking for me. After I made a post, let's say they got a lot of flack. My grandparents still don't talk to him to this day. My aunt packed up my room because I refused to go back into that house. I've not spoken to my father in years, nor met my half-brother. Tammy and Dad still try to fix our relationship. Apparently, sometimes pregnant women start hating people or pets for no reason. I'm turning 18 in 3 weeks, and a cousin's girlfriend asked me about inviting my dad, so I told her the story. She told me while what they did was wrong, what I did was an a-hole thing too. Because I made them worry/stress and go to multiple people's houses during a pandemic that put a pregnant woman having a mental health issue at risk by the whole stunt. So am I the a-hole for letting my dad think I was missing? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. You were being abused by this woman to the point you were losing hair and your father chose her. You did the right thing to protect yourself. Even if this was something medical with her due to the pregnancy, the two adults in the situation owed you far more grace and understanding than you got. He told you it was on you because his wife couldn't possibly hate someone so much without a reason, while doing damn well you weren't doing anything wrong. He can live with those consequences. If they can't apologize without blaming you, there is no real apology happening. Not the a-hole. Wait, what did I miss? Oh wow, they chased her out. OP complied and somehow now this is OP's fault? Neither of these people are safe anymore. As adults, they are responsible, or supposed to be anyway, and blaming a minor for their choices and actions is really telling. So as sad as it is, OP might get used to the idea I only have a mother now, not the a-hole. And OP's 17 now, about to turn 18. So this all happened 4 years ago. So this happened, including being kicked out, which was quite illegal, when OP was 13 or 14. Your father basically asked you to leave the house, and that you weren't allowed near the kid. You did what he asked you to do. Hormones might have made her on edge, but nothing fixes hormone issues like a social media post, and the flack that comes with it. Lockdown was stressful for anyone, and they made your life hell. Do you want these people in your life? Not a-hole if you move on with your life and they are not part of it. I wish I could have a relationship with my brother. Maybe I'll get a chance when he's older. But as for Dad and Tammy, I hate them both. Not a-hole. Cousin's girlfriend has no right to judge you for a situation she wasn't there for. She's completely ignoring that your dad angered the whole family with his actions towards you. It's rare that family actually holds a neglectful parent accountable, yet she's judging you? My dad's side has been extremely supportive and still get mad about it. My grandparents have disowned him even. I'm not the only person he lost that day. Exactly. That alone should be a huge giant sign to the cousin's girlfriend to keep her opinions to herself. It's easy to feel self-righteous when you weren't the one abused. I'm sorry for the mental and physical trauma you've gone through. And tell your cousin their girlfriend isn't invited anymore, since she's not good for your mental health, if you want to. She sent me a text a while ago, because my cousin told her off. I took some advice here and said if she still felt I was a bad person for my actions, she shouldn't attend my birthday party, and I'll let everyone know the reason. Then she began apologizing. Now for the first update. I'm gonna call my cousin's girlfriend Sarah and my cousin Paul. So I mentioned in a comment I uninvited Sarah from the party. Yesterday, Paul came over to talk. He told me Sarah had issues in the past with her younger siblings. It was apparently really bad, like her siblings lived with her mom full-time and she lived with her dad. Long story short, Sarah was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in college and went to therapy. He said even though she's apologized, her siblings still won't have anything to do with her, which breaks her heart. Paul said Sarah told him that when I told her what happened, it triggered her because it reminded her of her situation with her siblings. I didn't mention in the other post because it was really irrelevant to what I was asking, but Sarah texted me about letting go of the hate, links to sites about family members with mental health issues, numbers of family therapists, even subreddits on here. He told me Sarah wanted to meet up to clear the air and apologize in person. I said okay. Sarah texted about half an hour later about picking me up because she wanted to drive to a new restaurant that newly opened in the next town over, as her pre-birthday treat to me. We know what she was planning, but Tammy ruined it for her by calling my mom to tell her Sarah's plans to help us make up. I wrote my dad a letter 2 days ago as a lot of you suggested. I put everything in there and told him how it affects me to this day. I told him I wanted a relationship with my brother, but I wasn't sure I'll ever want one with him. I told him to leave me alone because his actions are only pushing me away even more, and if I ever decide I want to talk to him, it will be on my terms with my mom present. The letter ended up being 5 pages, and you guys were right, it did make me feel better. My mom dropped it off that day, and Dad asked to meet her a day later. They talked about me meeting my brother, and my dad said he wants to buy me a car, no strings attached. They, Tammy and Dad, also asked if it would be okay to give me money to get myself something for my birthday. You guys are gonna hate me for this, but I'm taking the car and the money. If he wants to give me more, he can, because college supplies and moving into a dorm is expensive. Back to Sarah. She basically contacted Tammy via Facebook. Tammy sent my mom the screenshots, telling her everything I said, then asking Tammy her side, because Sarah didn't believe me. To Tammy's credit, she told the truth and took full accountability. It was Sarah who kept trying to make out Tammy was the victim. Sarah told Tammy about her own past and said she'd try to mend our relationship. Tammy told her that she didn't want her to. The last message was Sarah telling Tammy the location and time would be at a restaurant. Even said she'd drive me, so I couldn't leave, even though I just asked a waitress for help or call my mom. My mom posted the screenshots into the group chat and called Sarah a bunch of names. Told her if she ever came near me again, she'd regret it. I blocked Sarah and left the group chat, so I don't know what happened afterwards. But Paul came over with my aunt and swore he knew nothing about it. To be honest, I don't know if I believe him, because he was trying to defend Sarah again, which got him a verbal lashing from my aunt and mom. That's it really. I'm gonna update in a few months to let you guys know how everything went with my brother. I feel like I owe everyone that after so many people helped me take that step, because honestly, words can't describe how happy it's made me. Literally the best birthday present I could have gotten. Thank you so much for the amazing advice and people sharing their own experiences, even the women who suffered mental illness Tammy did. It helped me understand it a bit more, but I still can't forgive her. I don't think we can ever rebuild our relationship, especially to what it was. Look up a term, transference. This is what Sarah's doing. She's over-identifying with Tammy because of she herself ruined her family relationships due to her mental illness, and is trying to find her own redemption through manipulating her circumstance. But now you know. Never ever get in a car with her. Not you driving her and certainly not her driving you. Never give her the opportunity to be alone with you or communicate in any way other than text so you have it all in writing for your family. Tell your brother to make sure she stands down. Your situation is not her situation and she needs to stay in her lane. Paul's my cousin, my brother is a toddler, but you don't have to tell me twice about keeping away from Sarah. If she comes near me again, I'm gonna call the police. As far as I know with Tammy, she told my mom that she told Sarah to keep away from her too. Paul should end things with her. She is dangerous. Sarah's extremely beautiful, like model-level beautiful. And even though I love Paul, he's my oldest cousin, but a beautiful girlfriend means more to him than a healthy relationship. Now for the last update. Short version, I turned 18 3 days ago. Had a great time, met my brother. Sarah tried to get in contact with me again, and I've spoken to my father and Tammy. It's easier to break everything down. Sarah. A day after I made the last update, my mom booked a holiday for a week to get away, which was really random and sudden for her. 3 days in, my mom got a notification that someone was at our door. It was Sarah. Sarah at first was normal asking my mom to talk to me, then she started explaining herself and her situation, which went between sad and angry, but suddenly she freaked out, started calling me names and threatening me, while damaging our door and porch, even broke the Ring camera. It was extremely scary. I don't blame her siblings for not wanting anything to do with her. Sarah was arrested. My mom is definitely pressing charges. I don't know much about her situation now, but I'm not gonna lie, I've been looking over my shoulder a lot since. For those wondering, yeah, heard my cousin broke up. He's, let's say, shaken up worse than me, and very apologetic. My brother, my birthday went great. I had such a good time. Honestly, I have the best mother/family in the world. They really made my 18th special. I got so many amazing presents, but my favorite was the sister necklace my brother gave me. Obviously, Dad or Tammy got it, but I finally get to be his sister, and that's what I've wanted for so long. We have spent some time together, and I'm seeing him again tomorrow. He's so extremely adventurous, never sits down for a second. He loves Miss Rachel and green. I found out that he and the neighbor's cat will stare at each other, which I used to do when I stayed at Dad's. I could talk for hours about him. I'm so glad you guys helped me meet him. I can't thank you enough for that. Dad. My dad was there the first time I met my brother. I knew beforehand because obviously my brother is a toddler basically. We met at Aunt's house, Dad's sibling. I was told he'd stay in the kitchen the whole time. I caught him peeking at me and brother a few times throughout the day. When I was leaving, my dad followed me out and just hugged me. He told me he missed me. I hugged him back and told him I missed him too. As you know, it was the first time I've spoken to him in years. He apologized and took accountability. I started angry crying, then just let everything out. I told him how they made me feel, my mental health, and that I love him but I'll never forgive him. He asked me if he could try to make it up to me and be a part of my life again. I said we can try, but I'm making no promises and ever getting back the relationship we once had. We have spoken a few times, and he has helped me when I needed to bring my large dog home from the vets. Now, Tammy, you guys are gonna be shocked, but I was the one who contacted her. So I got my mom to call her to basically say, Jessica's with me and she wants to speak to you. Tammy was obviously shocked, but agreed. I told her after everything she put me through and how much she hurt me that we'd never have a relationship. But I'm willing for just my brother's sake, not hers or mine, to be civil, because I want us to be able to attend my brother's events without drama. Tammy started apologizing and telling me she's not like that anymore. She got help, which I said I'm glad she's doing better. We talked about the Sarah situation and my brother for a few minutes. The whole call was like 20 minutes. I've not spoken to her since, but that 5 days ago. So that's it. Really my last update date. I know what people are thinking about my dad. I've not forgiven him, and he will have to work extremely hard to get back the relationship we lost. But I feel better that he's back in my life. I do believe both of them regret it. But if I get any crap or think my brother isn't being treated, well, I will make their lives hell. Thank you so much, Reddit, for the amazing advice. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling them they have to live in the basement or find somewhere else because they are my parents? So here is my story. I'm 47 years old and live in a not-so-big house with my dogs. My children have grown up and do not live with me anymore. Basically, I converted the basement into a guest house. It has its own door, kitchen, bathroom, and nearly everything you need. When my children visit, they stay there. My parents asked to live with me a few months ago because they wanted to be closer. I agreed, and I informed my children that the basement would now be reserved for their grandparents, so they would have to stay in the main house when they visited, which they accept. When my parents arrived to move in, my children came to help. My parents were confused when we started putting their belongings in the basement. They expected to live in the main house. I told them the basement was their new home, and it was very nice. They got upset and stated that they did not want to live in the basement and preferred to live in the main house. I informed them that the other rooms in the house are for my work, private office, and a room where I do my stuff. And my dogs, my source of happiness after my wife died, and that the basement is the best place for them. I also mentioned that if they didn't like it, they could find another place to live, such as my other siblings' house. They're now living in the basement, but they are unhappy, despite the fact that it is very nice and they do not have to pay rent, plus free food. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not a-hole. Your parents were not actually confused. Rather, it was an act to manipulate you. They're angry and bitter because the power dynamic has altered and they're no longer in charge. I do love my parents, that's why I let them stay on the basement that has all the amenities that they need. I was also thinking of hiring a private nurse for them, since I can't really look after them all the time because of how demanding my work is. It's very generous of you. I love my parents too, I just don't like them. Love does not mean that they don't resent the shift in the balance of power. Everyone sucks here. Even between family, a written contract is a good thing. Why? Because a good written contract spells things out. You and your parents should have communicated ahead of time exactly what was going to happen. That way, if you had different expectations, one or the other of you could have backed out of the arrangement, with ample time to find another home for your parents. I was thinking of swapping their rooms, my parents and my dogs, but to be honest, the basement is better since it's furnished like a guest room.